As per usual, it's a busy week this week at Dark Corner Studio, so we got a quick Q&A for you with a bunch of questions and comments related to sound quality. If you want to get in on this and have your QA'd by me, drop it below the video and I'll see what I can do. Let's get into this. First up is a longtime member of the channel, Midnight Wolf, and his question is this. In my opinion, should 32-bit float interfaces have a preamp gain knob? And from there on out, he just goes on to state his case. And this is an interesting question, as I think the lack of a gain knob has been primarily a marketing thing, but it also, at the same time, kind of makes sense. I mean, if you're going to gain stage manually, why do you need 32-bit float? At the same time, as you pointed out further in your message, having the gain set for you is a bit annoying as well. And of course, this is all from the Zoom UAC 232 that does not feature a gain knob, and they're doubling down on you not needing one. As for my opinion, it's kind of tough as I don't have all the experience in the world working with 32-bit float interfaces. That said, I can say that it would be beneficial to be able to at least set your own gain to a normal level for your setup and leave it. Even a digital gain control would be nice. And I also see the importance of this for someone that is doing live work. Not all workflows can have static gain. So in a way, I do agree. However, the more important factor here is that Zoom doesn't. Sorry, buddy. Thanks for the question, though. Next up, we have Birdo606, and he says, I think you should focus more on different types of sources for your mic tests. Just hearing you repeat a few sentences into each isn't really enough to go by. I hate to say this, but I found the RE shootout to be a little disappointing. But keep up the good work. I do enjoy your content. Thank you, Birdo. I do appreciate the kind words. This one is a bit of a complicated answer, though. First up, the actual comparisons do not really retain viewers, and the longer they are, the more people drop off. Secondly, I actually do spend more time going between each mic comparison than other creators, though my approach is different with the direct back and forth. And third, as soon as I switch to a different source, like a guitar or an instrument, the viewership goes off the edge of a cliff. You can see that with this graph. Where the red marker is, you can see from the screenshot what I'm doing. And if you notice a bit further ahead, people are rejoining the video. Now, those kinds of retentions can stall out a video's progress, which means it will perform horribly. You have too many of those, and then finally this channel becomes less and less viable as a time sink for me. On top of that, this channel's mostly built on voice and mics for voice, and while I'm slowly expanding into more music, well, that's just the way it is for the time being. It is a fine balance between doing the videos that a few really like and doing the videos that most people like. I do appreciate the love, though. Next up is Blendtech Bra, and he says, unpopular opinion, given how the vast majority of people consume media these days, iPhone and AirPods, there's no real world difference between a super duper well cared for vintage U87 and an SM58 that's been beat to hell on the road for 30 years. Come at me, bruh. Now, as per my relationship with audio professionals, I'm required to shame you as a simpleton and make you wear a dunce cap in the corner. But sadly, there's part of this I kind of agree with. Now, most people listen on devices that cannot reproduce half of the frequencies that a U87 can pump out. That is an undeniable truth these days, but first hear me out. I edit for a podcast called The Minds of Madness, and I'm friends with the host Tyler. He records his podcast on a U87 into a $5,000 Neve preamp before mixing it down to 320 megabits per second MP3. Then his audience listens to it in the aforementioned earbuds. But he does this for a reason. You see, despite the compression, you still want the best quality of audio going in before it gets squashed. While you hate the truth of it, compressing lesser audio will lead to a worse product than compressing great audio. And even though the majority listen on devices that have half the frequency range, there are still people out there that listen on better devices and gear. You don't want to forget them. Just food for thought, and keep that dunce cap on. And before we get to the bad take of the week, a bit of something, different. Sean Webb, another longtime supporter of the channel, says, when I look at the left of my screen at my subscriptions, your channel is shown as Dark Corner Stud. I mean, yeah, that was totally planned, bro. Totally planned. Now for the bad take of the week, and this one comes from Patrick Klein, and he says, yes, I can hear the difference even on my HP laptop speakers. The SM7B is fuller and more balanced overall, but I really do like the SM58 without the transformer. Thanks, Patrick. And this is a weird one to respond to, but I think I should address the weirdest part of the comment. I have gotten a lot like this, and usually referring to mic comparisons that are actually super close. Now, to start, the idea that you can tell when listening over computer speakers is ludicrous. And I'm not trying to be mean, but this is a weird kind of flex that turns a lot of people off from getting into the audio world. It's an incredibly snobby response, and the only reason comments like this exist is someone like you trying to inflate your own ego. In the end, though, it just makes you look stupid. Now, before you think I'm being mean, let me show you something. This is the frequency response off of one of the best sounding laptop speakers on the market, a 15-inch MacBook Pro. And I want you to drink this in. 300 Hz has about a neg 25 dB pad on it. The only frequencies being represented in any way that could be considered respectable are between around 3K and around 7K. There's a steep drop off on the way to 10K, and beyond that, it's just gone. Now, the mid-range, on the other hand, is just as bad, if not worse, with the 500 Hz to 1K sitting at neg 10 dB. And again, this is one of the best sounding laptop speakers on the market. This ain't your HP laptop, I can guarantee that. Stop trying to flex like this. It is dishonest, and when you actually look at the facts, you just look a lot less intelligent than you might think. And with that, thanks for watching. Cheers.